Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the first construction meeting of the new year. I'd like to wish everybody a happy new year that's here and then that's listening online. We have our committee members here. I'm the chair. We have Mr. Vontae Leach and Ms. Krista Fields and Ms. Crystal Monroe. She's online. We also have Mr. Craig Lowry and Dr. Emmanuel here and Mr. Bradley. First order of business is going to be the naming of the planetarium and naming of the Robeson County Career Tech. This time I turn it over to Mr. Bobby Locklear.
Bobby, if we can, let's do a moment of silence, please. Amen.
Okay.
Got a tidbit today that he was sick again. Have y'all heard anything?
I talked to Mr. Henry yesterday, and I think he was out of the county. I mean, like he was doing a little vacation, and that was yesterday, unless he was telling me a story, but that was yesterday.
Well, I got a call. He was sick again. I just didn't know whether maybe that was referring to before.
What he told me yesterday, he was on vacation.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Now, I think Mr. Gentry was sick during Christmas, right? Jamal, you mentioned that you had heard that. You told me Gentry, and that's how I said it. You know I got good. Yeah, that's why I was asking.
So good afternoon, Chairman Simmons, Chairman Britt, Superintendent Williamson, and board members. Happy New Year to everyone. So one of the first items on the agenda is the naming of the planetarium. So based upon policy 93-100, naming of facilities, that if there is a group within the community that wishes to name a facility after a certain individual for distinguished reasons, then they come before the board and submit a request. So in the case of naming the planetarium after James Hooks, that has been successfully completed. And the process is that we turn this over to our construction committee to make a recommendation to our board.
Mr. Simmons, I make a recommendation that we move forward with presenting to the full board that we rename the planetarium the James Hooks Planetarium.
Great.
Ms. Christie, are you saying name the full planetarium that, or are you saying put a plaque outside? What are you saying as far as?
Anybody else? So we're gonna go with the name and black. I'm sorry, Ms. Crystal.
I feel my suggestion would be to do a plaque for the person, for Mr. Hooks, and not name the whole school for it. I feel like maybe if we had to do one person, then, you know, how many other names will we have to name? I feel like it should be its own entity and just do plaque. So if we wanted to add somebody in the future, we could.
Okay. We have two motions on the floor, one the full name and one the plaque. We have to do the second one first. So the board members that's here is myself, Mr. Leach, Ms. Monroe, and Ms. Fields. All in favor of taking it to the board?
Did we get a second on that first motion?
No. Anybody gonna second the first motion? Okay. Second motion. First motion's died. Second on the second motion. Okay. Got a second on the second motion, which will be the plaque. all the board members that's on the committee, by saying aye. All in favor by saying aye.
For the second one?
Yeah, for the second one.
Okay, I'm saying aye.
Okay, all opposed? The motion passed 3-1. The name of a plaque in place of the name on the board, the building, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
When it goes before the full board, is there any way that this motion can be superseded if the full board votes to name the planetary method hooks? Can we supersede the committee's vote?
No, I think what we would end up doing, if it doesn't pass, then you have an option of another motion to the full board on the floor at that time. So the board is moving it forward for a vote of the full board. So the board's got to vote it up or down. And if it doesn't pass, then you have an option of another motion on the floor on that night.
Dr. Williams, I think you answered it. This is what will go to the full board, the
Yes.
recommendation. The board votes on that, yes or no.
Yes.
And if it's voted yes, then that's what happens.
That's
If
correct.
it's voted no, there could be another motion made at the board that night. And if not, it would go back to this committee again.
That's right. So the question may be, do we do a second motion that night? And that may be a lawyer question, and I'll have that answered by next Tuesday on that piece. Question.
Okay, Mr. Barber.
Okay. So the second item on the agenda tonight, or this afternoon, is naming of the Robeson Career Technical Center. Again, following policy 9300, naming facilities. Community group has gotten together and submitted the necessary documentation to name the new school after the name that they have submitted is the Hunt Harding School of Career and Technology.
Okay,
I make a motion that we name the new PSRC Career and Technology School the Harding Hunt School of Career and Technology.
okay. Any other motions? Mr. Leach? Hit your button again. Hit your button again.
Green, okay. I would like to make a secondary motion that we put plaques, and we put plaques for Mr. James Hook, we put plaques in the inside for Mr. Hunt and Mr. Harding.
Okay. We have two motions on the floor, one for the full name and one for a plaque. We'll vote on the first one for the full name. All in favor of the full,
For the second one first.
I'm sorry, second. We'll do the second one first, which would be the
Yeah, we
plaque.
got to get a second on. the
Oh,
first
I
one.
thought we did.
Did we get a second on? the
No, we
first?
didn't get a second.
No,
That's why I
okay,
made
my
a
fault.
secondary motion. We didn't get a second.
We're in the
Okay.
second one.
Okay, well, get us, anybody second the first motion that's on the committee? Okay, to put the plaque on one inside the building, anybody second that one?
I'll second for the plaque.
Okay, the second one passed, or we take a vote on it, all in favor for putting the plaque on the building, saying aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passed.
All right. Thank you, thank you, Chairman Simmons. The next item on the agenda is the Lumberton Senior High HVAC project update. As you're aware, this will conclude our work through our ESSER funding. We were able to complete our switchgear installation over Christmas break. Luckily, weather cooperated and we had full cooperation from the city of Lumberton and their utility department. But again, the installation of the switchgear concludes all of our ESSER work. But at this time, to give you more detailed information, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Watkins and her team. I think she's got, if you've been out to the schools at any of the projects, HVAC, the windows, you're going to see Lonnie on the ground, and she also has Bundy with her as well. So I'll turn it over to Ms. Watkins now.
Good afternoon. Hope you're doing well. Happy New Year to you. Good to see you all here today. We did want to share the excellent news that we have been able to complete ESSER 2 and ESSER 3 projects that Snyder Electric was assigned to and given and worked through with all of the administrative staff. Everybody's been great to work with. The switchgear was the last feat that we had to overcome, and the windows. So I had Lonnie here, who is our site superintendent. He's been on site here daily to work through that, to direct traffic and direct all of our contractors and work with the staff daily. So I wanted Lonnie to come in and give us an update. And then also I was asked about Lumberton Middle, if we anything on the controls. So I want to give that update as well, because Mr. Britt asked me about that. So I wanted to give that update before we went on to the next process that we were going to talk about. But I wanted to share that. And if you got any questions, we would be glad to address those. But we did finish some major infrastructure improvements in the 5 schools that we had with your ESSER funds.
Yeah, so I appreciate it, Lisa, and thanks to you allowing me and Snyder to be here and partner with y'all in doing this project. A lot of y'all have seen my face at a lot of different events. I've been at pretty much almost every school, so hopefully it's been pleasant experiences with me. If not, pull me to the side and let me know, and I'll fix it, right? So with that being said, I want to give you an update. We just, as soon as this week, just got our final permit concerning the windows portion of the project. So I was trying to push to get that before the year ending, but a lot of people being in travel and end of year, y'all understand that. So I just got the final approval for the permit for the windows. So that portion is done with installation, and we're in the process on behalf of our PM, Mike Hudson, getting ready to start with the closing documents to close out this ESSER 3 project. With that being said, right before, during this Christmas break, we had targeted that time to be the area that we needed in order to do the switchgear portion of the work. The previous summer and last summer, we did all the install of every new air handler at Lumberton High School this past summer, the previous summer doing the work over at Purnell Sweat High School. And so with all that work concluding, it only left needing to do this switchgear. So talked to Bobby, and he helped set up a meeting, and we've had a good game plan together. We always like to approach things worst case, but obviously we're always going to work to do the most efficient way possible. So our goal was to be able to get that switchgear swapped out before Christmas Eve in order to be able to have all parties that were needed to get the inspections done and to get the utility involved so that we could eliminate and minimize the downtime that the school would need to go through. So that actually happened, which was great. Principal Brooks was very happy that we were able to get that going. And so with the help of Ray Locklear and all the different groups, they did a great job being on site. And we went through and recorded everything very diligently. We went through with our MOP, which is called a method of procedure, and everything went perfectly to plan. And so on the 29th, we started that process. And by the 22nd, 23rd, that following Tuesday, we had everything up and running. And then the final inspection was done. And so I'm happy to announce that that system has been running beautifully. We've been doing some follow-up on that. And so with that being said, we are now, again, looking at closing out this ESSER 3 project. So I really appreciate everybody's patience through this project. It was very, very trying, and there was a lot of, maneuvering things around, but Y'all were tremendous in making sure that we were able, it's the old thing, help us help you. And I feel like that was a really beautiful thing with this county, that y'all are very, very useful in helping us achieve our goals. So I really commend y'all for that, and thank you for allowing, us to do this project for y'all and with y'all. With that being said, there was a question brought up concerning Lumberton Junior High. So Lumberton Junior High was not a part of ESSER 2 or ESSER 3, but there was some work that was done there outside of that with our Snyder Controls BAS division independently. It had come to my attention and our team that there were some issues that they were having out there with the HVAC equipment. Snyder did not have anything to do with the actual HVAC equipment, but we did have a temporary BAS system out there with the intent of coming back in the future to try to do some improvements where we can. After evaluating all those things, I'm happy to announce that from talking to our team, that we now have a plan in process that we're going to go ahead and go and start going and initializing, putting a plan together to update that system to make it more in line to what we did concerning the BAS systems we installed at Purnell Sweat and most recently at Lumberton High School. So here in the next coming, month or so, if not sooner, we'll be projecting a schedule and a plan of attack that we can go into that school and get that system upgraded to make it more accessible and easier for the maintenance staff to be able to monitor that system. So be looking for that to be coming here soon.
But that was outside of the ESSER project.
And that
so
is,
that's why we're
that's
just trying
outside
to
of that.
do that to help get it going correctly.
Right.
Let's clarify a little bit more. So again, outside of the project, we didn't invest any extra money. The truth is, y'all invested your money through tax credit.
That is
Yes, sir.
correct.
That's the truth.
Yes, sir.
That is correct.
We were able to help secure you some tax credits. So we were able to share that with you.
Can I say something, and then all of us? So we got the notification that our 14 million, what we would do to finish this project, that we wouldn't get it originally, but we knew after reading the law, we would. And so our intent is sometime in February to invite this company in front of us. They work with us, no interest on the money. I mean, it's amazing. And what a powerful, powerful partnership. And that did not go unnoticed because you could have taken a different position. And here we are, exactly where we intended to be with all the projects completed. Would not have happened without Snyder and being a true partner. And we're gonna sing that song wherever we go. 'Cause
We
it's true.
appreciate it too, because we take it down to our heart. You become our family, and we want to make sure that we work together through the hiccups. Not every project can go smoothly. This just happened to be something that happened that no one's ever had to deal with, ever. I've been doing this 30 years and not ever had this happen. It made us all stronger and learn how to get through those hiccups.
Right. Also, if I may, Mr. Chair, so Erica, again, we're finished with ESSER funding, correct? And then the reimbursements that we're due, can you share that with construction committee, please?
Good afternoon. Yes, to answer that question, short, yes, I received an email from Albert, I'm not sure how you say his last name, Wolfell from NCDPI, that we received our last installment will come in tomorrow, a little over 2.9. So we are done. We've spent the entire 14 million and our last reimbursement will come in tomorrow from NCDPI and the federal government.
Right. So I see Mr. Craig gonna ask the question, so allow me to ask the question. How much of that will go back into our capital
All of
fund?
that goes back into capital outlay. That entire total goes back into capital outlay.
I was not going there, Dr. Williams.
Thank you.
But I want to thank Snyder. I was at the university, UNCP, I think last fall when you had a bunch of our students over there. And they were just seeing different science things going on. And it was wonderful for the students. And I want to thank you for that. And thank you for working with us to get this done. And then my last thing, Dr. Williamson, they worked during Christmas. I know they're compensated. And I know they mentioned Mr. Ray. I'm sure we had a lot of staff there too. So ever what we can do with them with comp time or whatever, which we usually do it, but ever what we can do with them to get this up and running before school started back, we need to look at. But thank you, folks.
Now I'm going to step into segue into the next.
Hold on, Ms.
portion.
Alyssa.
Okay, yes, sir.
I had a
Go
question.
ahead. Yes, sir.
I had a question for Ms. Erica. You did say that the rest of that money is going into capital outlay. What about the 2 million we took out of reserve?
Once we deposit this check, I'll let you know what the total is, but that's part of it. It's 2.9 and some change, so the whole 2 million will be back in our capital outlay account.
Okay.
I'm going to segue into a quick presentation that we have today. Do we have a clicker or can? You got it. Okay, that's fine. That's great. Okay. So we wanted to talk to you today about performance contracting. And when we were here looking at your ESSER projects, we were looking at items in the ESSER project that you would never have money for again, or long-term infrastructure items that the schools needed, like Lumberton Senior and Purnell Sweat, that needed some major infrastructure. So we wanted to identify those needs and let that ESSER fund pay for that, because that would be money that we would probably not ever see at the school district again. So we were trying to help you overcome those needs so that you could get those schools more functioning the way they should today with the newer infrastructure. So today I wanted to talk with you about what an energy savings performance contract is in the North Carolina school districts and how they utilize this type of method to be able to do more infrastructure. And Lonnie alluded to it a few minutes ago that we had looked at how to get things to work at a certain point, but you were going to have to further, like building automation, we got them to work at a certain point, but they're going to have to build out further to work further, or we didn't, we weren't able to look at all the schools. We only had 5 schools. So while we were here and working in the district, we wanted to look at all the schools and what your needs were. And Mr. Lowry, like you said, we started doing some educational things with your students, because Snyder is not just about construction. We're about student engagement. We're about being a partner with you in all aspects within the district. So today I wanted to go over how we got where we are today. And I've got an old business case that we did about 1.5 years ago. I just wanted to share it with you. I did not update that. It was just information that we found while we've been here. And then the process of what an energy savings performance contract is. Many school districts utilize this. Robeson has not done this yet. And it's an outstanding opportunity for you to improve the school district further without any upfront money. So this is a wonderful avenue, and this is the only time that the school district can do something like this. And there's general statutes that approve this and allow this to happen in North Carolina. So if you wouldn't mind, I'll jump. So I just wanted to talk today about how we got here. So in December 2022, that's when we started the ESSER 2 project, and we started developing that and trying to do design. There was a lot of design that had to take place, and thank goodness we had Bunty here helping with that design at the time. He was our lead project development manager. So we had a whole team here that would meet and come in here and go through these schools to try to figure out what's the right design with the amount of money that you had to spend for these and make it work the best. So that's where we started ESSER 2. And then we transitioned into February the following year to ESSER 2 and 3. At that time, we were coming out of COVID. There were still long lead times on supply. So we even had over at Lumberton Senior, we had one, I think it was a boiler, wasn't it? That had like a 58-week lead time. So we had some long lead times on some items. So we wanted to get those ordered to get those in to be able to begin work, but we had long lead times. So there was a lot of, I'd say, behind the curtain, the wizard pulling those levers, because we were pulling levers and trying to make things work and develop other projects at the same time with the amount of money that you had. And we had to do it within a time frame too. And we were brought in at a later time than some of the other projects had been done. You had other projects started, but we were here to try to help you get that and get it in on time. So that's where Snyder came in through a design build. And then later on in October 24, when you had some more money freed up, there were still windows that needed to be done. So as we figured out exactly what items were going to be and how much that project was going to be able to fund, we had money freed up to be able to go back to add windows in the location. So we took the highest priority need. There were several of them, but we had to allocate priorities, and we were able to put windows in for the school districts. So we have been moving through this. So that's how we've gotten to where we are today. And now I wanted to talk to you about the energy savings opportunity. Dr. Williamson.
Let me interrupt you. And just as a reminder, when the projects were, one is Oxendine and what was Pembroke Elementary. That's where we done the window part, St. Paul. Yeah. Thank you.
So now today I want to talk to you about the ESPC, is what we call an energy savings project opportunity. General statute in North Carolina is 143-6417 that allows school districts to do this. So we'll jump to the next one here. So in front of you is an older business case, and I just took pieces out of that to show you you're paying your utility bills. So Erica gets those, and they're paid every month, and you're paying those to your utility. So right now there is a spend of you've got you're spending your utility, you're paying it, but you're not getting anything out of that. You're just paying your utility bill. So what we did was we went through all the schools, we looked at them, and we would see where we could save money from the utility, and you reinvest that back into your schools. So basically, you're reallocating funds. If we improve the infrastructure with newer technology, you're using less electricity. So an example would be if we went through, y'all have seen where you've done new lighting in some of these gyms, and they're beautiful. So we've still got a lot of incandescent and older lighting throughout the classrooms and the halls and things like that. So if you were to reinvest into that, then you're saving the money that you would be given to a utility company. So basically what Snyder does, as well as design build what we did for you on an ESSER, we do what is called a guaranteed performance contract. So it's very similar to a design build, but it's fixed price, turnkey. So the prices don't change. It's turnkey. And the winner for the school districts are, there's no upfront money. It's protected by the North Carolina Energy Office, and North Carolina DPI oversees it. And you also have a third-party owner that oversees all of this, but it has to self-fund. So you go through a process, which is a proposal process to select a partner. But what we saw, and this was 2 years ago, so this is only gonna start building, and your projects are gonna get larger because every year you don't improve your technologies, that's more electricity you're using. So you're using more and more because your equipment is degrading and you're using more, and it's getting older each year. So at this point, we feel like, and again, if you don't do solar and you just do lighting or water or something like that and building automation, you're going to save, you're going to have a smaller project. But what we saw when we went out to all your schools is that we know, we can guarantee that you're going to save a minimum of 25% off those utility bills. If we take that and do it into a 20-year project, which is what most school districts do, and the law allows you to do a 20-year project, it would fund a minimum, and this was a year and a half ago, a $30 million investment back into the school district. That's not y'all using one penny. That's reallocating the funds. So again, if we look further, this was us looking at a high level, going through the schools. But I wanted you to see, you're spending this money already. You're just giving it to the utilities. But you can reinvest it, put it back into the schools. And so we feel like you can save a minimum of 25%. But if we get into more solar, or we get, Dr. Williamson, you did this in another school district. You did some unique opportunities, and you were able to save a lot of savings, more so than 25. So then you can get it all up to the 25 to the 61% that you see on this page of savings. So that creates the project. And in this project, we pull everything together: lighting, water, HVAC, and I'll get into that further. we don't like to use operation and maintenance funds, so that's why you see the X on the percentage. We did not go through your work orders to see that because that can be intangible. And at this point, I'd rather y'all see hard numbers because of your budget being so tight. If you'll go to the next one, please, Cole, thank you. So if you look at a 20-year project, so that's what North Carolina law allows, and most people do 20 years, 19 to 20. You can fund 30.9, and again, this was a year and a half ago, so it's going to be a bigger project at this point, up to, it could be, if you did solar projects in PV, it could grow a lot further. I'd like to say, let's look at the smaller end of that. So let's just say $31 million self-funds. So what can Robeson County Schools do with that $31 million that self-funds? And that's where we come in and bring our engineering, and it's a closed loop approach to it. So we help engineer it. We're responsible for it. It's fixed price again, so you're not going to get change orders. We don't come in here and do change orders. Once we tell you a price, it's done. It's just like what we had to do in ESSER. It's fixed. Our team works as a team with your team. Again, you would have a third-party overseer or owner's rep that's required by law that oversees what Snyder's doing the whole time and helps you through that. That is paid for through these savings. So again, school district's not paying for the third-party owner's rep. School district is not paying any more than what you're paying with your utilities. And I've offered to, for Erica to meet with some of the other CFOs to see how they handle when you start saving that money, is putting it aside and saving that. Because what you would do with this is you get a third party, a bank usually finances it. In North Carolina, we usually have Bank of America that finances it, and it kind of closes like a mortgage, and it's escrowed, and you control it. There are no payments made for during construction. This would probably be a couple of year construction. So the money's funded to you like a closing up front. It goes into your account and it's escrowed and it stays there. And then we immediately start working and doing construction immediately. We want to see that savings very quickly so you can start banking those savings. So you'll see lighting happening quickly, water happening quickly, and building automation. The longer lead items, which are like your HVAC infrastructure, things that have long lead times, we'll get those ordered and start working that into a work schedule. But we look at everything in the school district. We want every school to benefit, so the district is giving back to the entire school district. So everybody's getting something for what you're already giving to a utility company. You're basically reallocating it, and you're using this avenue as a vehicle to fund the improvements that are needed in all the other schools that did not get what they need.
If we can, at this point, what questions before so again, I want to be clear, it is a loan that we will get. The law allows that
Yes, sir.
to happen. In the past, that was a special interest loan, right?
Yes, sir.
And is that still the case?
Yes, it's just like a municipal lease purchase. It's treated like a lease purchase, just like you would do a copier. It's a lease purchase.
And if you look at the chart, as you scale your payments, obviously year 5 is going to be a whole lot better. But at some point, you're going to bank more money, because if you invest in that project, that's going to generate money for us. And it doesn't take us long to realize you spend your money in lightings and old buildings, but eventually it will generate a tremendous amount of money. Because the life of those lights are what, 15, 20 years?
Now, you've even got some old incandescents that are very, very old that take a lot of electricity, right? Still in the district.
But I did want us to stop with any questions before we get further in terms of that. So we're talking about low interest loan, that the savings
But
pays the
the
loan.
savings are your collateral. That's all that's your collateral. Your savings are your collateral. Again, you're paying it to a utility company. And I used to work for the utility company. So you're basically just reallocating. And this does allow you to get your infrastructure improvements that are needed in these schools. And what our team will do is we'll come back and do a detailed look once your partner is selected. And basically, you do have to go through a proposal process that is required by state law, but you select the partner. You're not selecting on price. You're not selecting on project. You're selecting who can I work with. And there's approved vendors. Right now, look today on the list, there's only 7 or 8. There used to be 14. So there's only 7 or 8 that are approved vendors in North Carolina at this moment to do this type of project in North Carolina. But again, it's oversaw by North Carolina Local Government Commission. So Treasury oversees this project. North Carolina Energy Office oversees this project. And your county commissioners also. As you start saving money, you've got to use that as your collateral. So they'll have to pass a resolution supporting that when you're saving money, that's your collateral, that they can't take that savings away.
Okay, let
Okay.
me interrupt you just for a minute.
Yes, ma'am.
So Dr. Williamson, are you proposing that we do this with every school? Do we want to keep every school open? What are we proposing here?
And just conversation, in terms of that, the answer would be yes. When you're in our old buildings, in our classrooms, our kids are struggling with lighting. And so the answer to that question from my standpoint would be yes, in every building. Even if we entered into a conversation about building new buildings, from the time you start that conversation to you actually start construction, you're talking about 5, 6, 7 years of that. But a critical need is the lighting. We've done some at some of our schools, but that's a critical need for us. So the answer is yes. Yes.
And what type?
It would be a good investment, even if the investment was for 5 or 6 years. It would still be a great investment for our kids.
And so what initial cost are we talking about? Guesstimating?
No, there's no cost to this to even investigate it, because the General Statute 143 says even if you want to stop the process and not do it until you get to where you've selected the partner and you've gotten all the way into what is called investment grade audit, which means we have done detailed engineering. There is no fee until you get to that point. Now, if we've brought out detailed engineers and we've done documents and we're ready to go to construction and you decide not to, there is a back out fee, but you know what that is up front. Never in 30 years had one stop at that point. But you do want to look at all the schools, whether they, because they pool together, you put all of the savings together, and then where your higher priority needs are, that's lighting and the water savings and the building automation. They help fund the high intense capital things, like if we need to do more windows, if we need to do roofs, if we need to do more air handlers or chillers or coolers. They have a longer payback, but the short-term payback helps fund that. So you have to have it, an overall payback of everything has to have a simple payback of the 20-year total, if that's what you do, up to a 20-year project. So you want to look at all of them, because once you name the proposal and put what's in there, you cannot add to it. So it's easier to take away than it is to add later, because you just name all of them and then you'll decide. But this is co-authored as with your partner and the school district administration for you to decide how are we going to split these savings, because you do want to divvy them out across the district.
Let me ask, of those 7 companies that's left, is one still in Robeson County?
Is one still in you're talking about like the ESCOs would be Snyder. I mean, I'll give you the name: Snyder, Johnson Controls. There's one called CMTA that's fairly new, engineering company. You've got Piedmont Services. You have Train, and then you have Brady, and there's one more, and Siemens. Those are your 7 companies.
So your original, really historical original companies who survived though?
The original companies, I mean, Snyder's been in here since
Right.
92, been here since 92. We've probably done 97.5% of the performance contracts in the last 15 years here.
And before we get a question, just so we can be thinking and processing, give us some districts around us who are doing the same thing.
I'll give you a good example. Brunswick County, they are probably in year 6 of their 20-year contract. They have been able to save their savings and exceed it, that they have actually paid their loan down 3 times. They're actually getting ready to look at a second performance contract because they're having to build 2 schools. And they're looking at going ahead and relamping and using lighting again to give something else out. Cumberland County has done 3. Harnett County has done 1. Anson County did 1 years ago. I'm just trying to go around us here. Sampson County has done 1. Hoke has done 1. So you've got Wake County has utilized it. UNC Wilmington has utilized 2. The government uses them all the time. So we have a Coast Guard, Seymour Johnson, Camp Lejeune, they all utilize this mechanism to be able to improve their infrastructure. So this is not just utilized in schools, but you'll see it used in county governments, in prisons. We have all of North Carolina Department Correction. We're doing a lot of work there. So we have a statewide contract there. Virginia, National Guard Armories, we have all of those, all of the Virginia community colleges. So it, you know, again, it's a guarantee. So the partner you select, we have to guarantee it. So that's your insurance policy. If you don't meet the savings 1 year, we have to write you a check. And that's by General Statute 143. And we've written checks, but it makes you whole. So you're made whole. So if we miss the savings, you get a check.
I have a question, and it's clarification on the capital projects addressed. Tell me in milkman language, what does it mean? Replace, recommission, antiquated systems. I'm assuming it's chillers, coolers, but I don't know what recommission in this term means. What does that mean?
If we go in and redo a piece of equipment and don't have to replace it, if we can redo it, like
Okay.
a cooling tower, if we can go in and if the parts, the outside is good and we can recommission it or redo it, and the parts are good on the outside, we can redo it and not have to replace the whole entire product. So we try to see if we can revamp it, and if we can't, then we have to replace it. But we go through all that together. You're going to co-author that with us. So we'll make suggestions. We have an entire engineering team that specializes in HVAC and building automation and lighting, and we all come together, sit down and go, okay, here's what we found, and now we work through the priorities, because we have to make sure it's good for you and it's good for the partner.
May I have a follow-up question? Simplifying what you're selling here with Snyder is the money we're paying for utilities and da. This is what's going to pay Snyder to do this. The money we're paying now for utilities and maintenance.
You're reallocating it. So basically you will have a third-party loan. We'll have to bid that out. Typically, I'm just saying typically in North Carolina, we see Bank of America win a lot of that because they are a North Carolina bank.
So we don't have to, if we go with this here, we don't have to pay utilities and you. Is that what you're
You'll still pay
saying?
your utility bill like you normally do. Your utility bill is going to decline because you're using less energy, because you're going to have new lights, new fixtures, new equipment, because that's not pulling on the system.
Okay, clarify me. How are you going to make money?
We're a contractor, so we're like a general contractor, so we're going to make our normal money like a general contractor does.
They're gonna get paid with the loan.
Yes, we'll get paid.
The
for
The
loan.
loan is gonna pay whatever vendor gets selected.
Yes.
And then the savings in the utility and other costs will help us as a district pay the loan.
That's correct.
And then please don't forget,
If we don't
Yeah.
utilize it.
We have to write the check by law. So whoever your vendor is selected, then they have to write a check.
this is debt, but not debt that would impact
No.
the system. And please keep in mind, if they do not hit the mark, then we write us a check with a whole lot of zeros. I love checks with zeros.
Okay, Mr. Bradley.
Y'all killed most of my questions. So that was one of the big questions I had, surrounding areas, who's capitalized on some of these projects. And then I didn't know if it was like a one and done, like if you do it, one time, was there opportunity to do other things? I think you covered that. The only other one was like solar. If we decided we wanted to do some solar, is it every building or is it certain buildings?
Well, actually, there's certain areas that solar works in.
Okay.
It may work in one area and not another. But it may be domestic hot water that that we change. So there may be some small things we do, but there may be some large things that we look at.
Okay.
But we'll look at all of it during what's called the investment grade audit. And that's after you selected your partner. And we're going down the rabbit hole, so to speak, to learn about what really is working or not working here. And because we have actually gone in districts and we found things that they didn't even realize that was a problem when we were walking through at that time. And try to help fix that ahead of time. So it's being a good partner and working together through that. If you'll go to the next one, Cole, this might
Before you
help. This
move,
might help a little bit as we come up.
Before you move, Mr. Chairman, I ask a question.
Yeah.
And Erica, this may not be a fair question. What are we spending monthly and yearly in utilities? Not a fair question?
Because we do track it by location. I think if my memory serves correctly, just for utility costs exceeds $4 million a year. But then sometimes that's included in one bill, but then we have separate water, sewer, all those things. So
The electric was 4.1 million 18 months ago, not including all the other utilities that we look at. So if you take that and you can save 25 to 40%, let's just say, of that, and then escalate that in times over how many years you choose in a contract. But remember, again, you also have a third-party owner. Now, the third-party owner that I've worked with on some, you select whoever you want. That's your business. But there is one that's local here that has done a lot of performance contracts. And I think, Dr. Williamson, you've worked with them several.
Right.
They are owners rep for the district now on other
Right.
projects, I believe, which is.
They've done the
LLC.
majority of our projects.
Yes. And they actually are ones that are approved to do that. So basically, this is right here. I was using this basically, we're going to repurpose where you're giving it all to the utility company. You're using your existing budget.
So to follow up with that, we went through a facility study that we're going to share with you guys later on. So from July of 23 to June of 24, our electricity cost was 4.8 million.
So
And
it's
that is-
increased. So,
Yes.
and that's what's going to happen. Your utility bills are going to keep increasing because the utility department is asking for more money every year. And then as your equipment gets older and older and older, it's degrading and it's going to pull more on the system. So you're going to start using more. And then as utilities increase, as long as you're doing nothing, it's going to get worse. So that's why we're here to offer this to you as an opportunity.
Hey, Mr. Craig.
Have several questions. When you come in, if we say we're going to do this countywide, will you start looking at each school?
We look at everything.
You say you want to look at each school, you're going to decide that Deep Branch needs windows, lighting, whatever. You go to another school, you go to Red Springs Middle, they need this, this, this. Is that the way you look at it?
Yes, sir. We look at the district as a whole.
Okay.
We'll look at everybody. Again, remember, lighting and water and building automation really help fund other things. So we want
And
everybody,
last part would be solar, depending on whether it would
where
work.
it
at
works,
each site.
where it
Okay.
works.
And with that in mind, we have old buildings. And I know we've done stuff with Esther the last 3 or 4 years, which we didn't, to me, patch things. We fix things. We fix roofs. We fix plumbing. That's what we use that money for. Now, if this is going to fix, because, if we close the school, then you got to do all this other. I'm not saying for or against it, but it almost sounds too good to be true. Now, I'll be honest with you. If I'm sitting
It's
here
not when you
listening
write
to
a check.
well, no, when you write us a check, that would be great. But that part, if we can go in and get heating systems fixed, where Mr. Bobby's not getting that call because the heat's not working or the AC's not working, or roofs and stuff like that, it all sounds good from that standpoint. And at the end, you're saying if we don't reach these savings, you write us a check.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I want to add a couple of things. One, when you see those school systems that end up in financial trouble, guess what the biggest part of it is? What we're talking about. It's not their normal day-to-day operation. They get money, local, state, It's utility costs that really that cause that to happen. The other part of that is, and this is just for me, as we look at all of this, you made reference to it. Over time, what can we do? What generates the quick money? Well, obviously, the lighting. And so one of the things I would talk to you as a board about is the quick money is in lighting and a long-term positive impact of the lights. So for me, other question on the table is, do we want to invest in water? Because I see water as our second critical need in our old buildings. Do we want to invest in that? And you can do the math with the lighting generate, because the water's not going to generate you that much money. That's why the lighting's got to be first. That's where the money is. But then the question for us is, do we want to do something about water fountains and our water in our buildings? That is a critical need for us.
That's great.
I'll make this comment about lighting. I go to Prospects Gym quite regular. If you've been in one of our gyms that's got the new lighting, when that gym is dark and then you walk in there and start walking and the lights come on, it's like day and night compared to what we used to have. And with those new type lights there, especially when the gym and there's no one in there. And then you leave out and you don't have to hit a switch. You just go out and the light's going to cut off. But
And you'll be
if you get that improvement in a classroom,
Yep, that's where I was
that
going.
would be, to me, very beneficial.
You'll be amazed at how getting the lighting levels correct for the students, it'll increase the learning. Back when we did Harnett County Schools, when my daughter was in middle school, I wanted to know when her classroom was done because she kept having headaches daily. And I wanted to know what day her classroom was done so I could tell if it changed. And it did. So the lighting levels can play devil's advocate or really help these children in learning. And, you know, then you also have the high school athletic associations and different associations that are getting involved that have lighting level candle, you know, foot candles that have to be met. If you're not meeting those, then you can't play sports in these gyms. You have done some of those gyms, but again, those levels are starting to have more and more demand on schools as well. So we'll just jump to the next one. So again, I just wanted to show this again. If you take that little bit of money that you're giving the utility, which is the inefficiency, we take that off and we reinvest it back into the school district. You're still spending on the utility, which is in the green. The gray becomes the investment back into the school district, and that's still your total energy usage. So again, a third party finances it and energy savings guarantee it, but you become more efficient, new equipment, and you're still paying that utility bill, but less. And I mean, again, there's a lot of things that you can include in these projects. It's not just the lighting, but again, if that's all we decide to do, you're going to help co-author this. So building automation, lighting controls, a lot of different controls help cut that heating and air on. I mean, when we came in here under the ESSER project, there were schools running 24 hours a day. If you're paying utilities on schools running 24 hours a day and we put building automation controls on there and we can control them, think about how much savings that is that goes back towards the infrastructure improvements. Insulation, we've got energy recovery, we've got windows, roofs, there's all kinds of things. If it has anything energy related, we can put that into this project. But it has to have some kind of energy component into it. And you're not only improving the lighting, but if we're getting rid of some of the old equipment, in some of these schools that I've been in, your indoor air quality is an issue. So we get rid of the mold issues. We get rid of the water not having chemicals in it and running through and ruining equipment. Because if you put new equipment in and we have the water coming in that's rusty, it's still going to mess up equipment. So there's things that we can put plans in place, treatment plans in place to help that for those. The other thing for facilities and operations is you can standardize. And you as the district, you help us. You say, we want this type of equipment, or my guys need to learn how to operate this. So we are completely training the staff. They're helping us select solutions that they know how to work on, or that we can also help them get certified in different areas. So if we need to come and get the staff trained on different things, we do that. This is all inclusive. Because if it's not working for the operations, then it's not going to work for anybody. So we want to make sure it's something that they understand, that they can work on, that everybody can work together on that. So you do get to select. So this is not like low bid. When you do your low bid and you have to take whatever you get, this is helping you standardize and pick energy efficient equipment, the right equipment for the schools. This is helping you select that. Again, safety, we've got some windows. We are replacing 4, but there are schools that need some new windows that, I mean, the kids can push through them, or if there are safety issues, those are things that we can help improve the safety and security for these students. Those can be tied into with it. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that can be tied into this project. So think about school safety, think about their learning environment when you're looking at this. But again, we're going to work on that all together.
Mr. Craig.
Just real quick, when you say standardized equipment, so we can put the same type of AC unit at each school?
If it, I mean,
If it would fit.
if it works. I mean,
So
now,
that
we're not
way-
going to say that,
Yeah.
you know, I'll just use, if it's Train or Carrier or a Dakin, we're not going to say that's going to work at every school, because every school has a different
If it
design.
would work, it would help maintenance being able to go
Yes.
to a school and like, hey, I'm not trained on this.
And then if you did
Yeah.
lighting district-wide and have the same type of
Same type.
lighting, and then we have the same type of bulbs, then it's easier. If you have building automation that you decide and select on, they're not having to run out there and look and then go back and get something. They have it on their truck, or they have the ability to do it on their phones to be able to check, to do it remotely. This saves productivity as well. And your staff is not having to implement this. We are bringing entire teams here. Like what we did at Brunswick, they have a north, a west, and a south. So we divided clusters of teams, and that's how lighting was implemented, was in 3 clusters. So we bring the teams to implement, and we do this after hours. We do it on weekends. We're used to working in schools, holidays. You saw that happen over Christmas. So we're very used to working in schools. So that's how we develop the schedule. We work with each principal. We figure out like summer schedules. If they're waxing, we have to work around all of that. Ball tournaments and everything like that, we work around all of that to make this happen. So this is a total team approach. Again, if you could do this, or you had the money and had all the operations staff, you'd probably do it, but you don't. And this is where we can be an extension to Robeson County Schools, to your operations and to your administration to help that.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I want to go back. So the original loan is a 20-year loan.
If you go that far, yes, sir.
If we go that far. And in a sense, you can make that an open loan, because at some point, they're going to write us a check. And so the opportunity to close that loan out by investing that money up front back into that debt speeds up the process. Well, if it's an open loan, then whatever the 3rd or 4th project is up, it's possible to keep it open and just reborrow some additional money, that you don't have to go back through the process.
In North Carolina, unfortunately.
That don't allow-
Well, we have legislation that we're trying to get proposed right now, so it can be phased.
Right.
But up until this point, you have to go through the process
Okay.
again in North Carolina. Surrounding states, no. Our state, yes. And again, you do close on it. We select the entire project. We have to submit it to Treasury, North Carolina Treasury. They have to approve it. We have to submit it to Energy Office. They have to approve it. Your third-party owner will have to approve it for monitoring verification, and the calculations are correct on top with us. So there's a lot of approval mechanisms that protect the school district that have to be approved. And then that's all submitted for the final approval and that amount. Then that's when that check is issued by the bank to the school district. And then it becomes yours to divvy out. Then we are paid. Somebody asked me how we're paid. We're paid as we do construction. So we are paid just as if we're a contractor, and we get our contractor fee basically. So we're a contractor, just like we did on the design build project. But we have the insurance guarantee writing on it.
So question, today, Dr. Williamson or whoever, this is no action needed, or we just information, and then moving forward and bring it back to the construction committee for as like an estimate if we wanted to move forward with this or whatever of how does it go from here is what I'm asking.
Well, in my mind, one, what advantage if we ask for a vote to move it forward to the full board, try to get you to come back in February and share this with the full board? Because you cannot have the numbers that fast anyway.
Yeah, I mean, so this is a slow process, Mr. Britt, to answer that. This is not quick in North Carolina. So even if you move saying we want to go to the proposal process, you need to get your third-party owner's rep in place. I would go ahead and do that now. Doesn't cost you anything to do that because that will come out of this project. So you would do the caveat, an RFQ to select them and get them on board to help you move forward. But the proposal process is very long. So if you decide to move forward with the proposal process and get it advertised, it would go through the Energy Office for advertisement. People have to walk through and look at your schools. You let them look at a sample. So there's certain criteria that have to be met. But if we move forward today and you said, let's move forward and put a proposal on the street, we're still looking at, before we got a contract signed, it's probably, if we were going fast, 8 months. And that's going fast. But we've already invested a lot of time to show you kind of what to expect on a project size. So you kind of know, yes, we have a project. Yes, we know we could fund this amount. And I've already floated it by our financial side. Does it look like this is something that the school district could do? And it's a yes, that you could do that.
Right.
But again, you've got to decide what's best for you, Dr. Williamson.
Right.
But it's a slow process. And remember, you can back out and stop all the way to the point of after you've selected your partner, and there is not a back out fee until you get into an actual engineering.
That's right. Experience is a powerful help, and it just can't replace that. And Chairman Britt, hopefully this afternoon, if we choose to your question, if we ask, can we send it to the full board as a next step? Then we need to determine what are we looking at first. You've heard my recommendation, lights and water. That's the quick money is the lighting. But then we would ask, give us a timeline and a step-by-step, what's first, second, third, so the full board.
In the book that I left you on your desk, there is an actual timeline about how long everything takes. I think the last page. There's a quick one here, but there is a more detailed one in the colored stapled book that I left there for you, where we did your actual business case. So there's an actual timeline, shows you like advertising and everything that you have to do and how long that takes.
Okay.
And we for sure will have Snyder Electric.
You're going to have to do a proposal, and then you select your partner. It's not based
So
on.
we select, but okay.
But you can select whomever you want. It's not based on money. It's not based on anything. One of your neighboring school districts, they went straight to Snyder because they knew that's what they wanted, and they just selected that right off after they went through the proposal process. But you'll decide how you want to do that.
Well, my personal opinion, I invest in people, and Snyder has been good to us. So that's where I would be. That's my opinion.
Thank you.
Mr.
But we
Chair.
have to follow the legalities. So,
Yeah, you're gonna get your attorney involved in it yesterday, trust me.
but I
It's
do,
complicated.
I would go ahead and get the RFQ for your third party.
Right.
You can just go ahead and just select them. And since they're
Right.
already your owner's rep, you can go ahead and select them.
Right.
And just hold off, tell them you want the funds rolled into the performance contract. So there's no money that anybody has to worry about. So I'm at the point of, why not do it myself? I think we can answer that. You have so many schools, and staff is really working to try to keep everything running.
Right.
That you can't do this on your own.
So-
And they do their day-to-day job.
So, Mr. Chair, again, from my standpoint and having experience, and I keep coming back to, you got to generate money fast. Lights would do that for you. And then the water issue we need to resolve. And at this point, from superintendent to this committee, that's my recommendation, is that we move forward to the full board with the recommendation of our lighting, internal, external, because we can get all our lights at that point. It's going to save money, and then water. And then with the understanding that we're going to come back and pick up.
And what I would say, Dr. Williamson, is just name the schools. And when you select that partner, just as long as schools are named, you can look at everything.
Yeah.
You're going to name locations.
All.
And that's what I'm saying. As long as you name them, you just can't go, as Ms. Fields, and we were talking earlier, we can't add later. So you just name the, even if it's the we want to look at the operations building too, and administrative, any facility that you have to pay a bill on. You want to look at them and you want to name those.
If you do a study on where you're spending your energy, maintenance, transportation, I mean, it would blow your mind. And then it wouldn't, of just weekly and monthly, how much to operate those facilities cost you.
And we also have an internal team too, that we look for grants and funding all the time. And Dr. Williamson, you alluded to it earlier. We were able to help you secure a tax credit on another project to help get you $100,000. So we also are constantly looking for rebates. So there are lighting rebates through Duke, and we find those, and we find exactly how much those are. So you can apply that back, either buy it down or help pay back off of the loan. So we help you find all of that. So we have an internal team that looks for rebates, grants, and all of that for you too.
So somebody make a motion. It's on the chair. I'm on the board.
I'll make a motion to move forward the full board.
Okay. You have a second? I'm not sure if you can add something.
Dr. Williamson, I guess that's where we need our attorney, but I mean, I don't know if I can make the second or whatever. I don't know how to Robert's Rule of Order works, or.
Yeah, there's a process you would have to go through in the meeting. So let's plan, because without it taking a vote or committed to anything, invite back and
I'm gonna say we added his information on our February board meeting.
Yes,
That'll be our plan.
yes,
And, I'm here all the time, so that's no problem.
yes. Let's do that. I know y'all got to think about it. It is a lot.
And most of you have my phone numbers because I've talked to a lot of you. You can get up with me, ask me any question anytime, or shoot me an email. Erica, Bobby, and Dr. Freddie all have my number too if you don't have it with you, or I've got other cards again. But anytime y'all have questions, I've told you anytime, please call me and I'll be glad to address anything that you have. I've been doing this 30 years in North Carolina, so I'll be glad to address anything that you have. I've been through a lot with a lot of people. And I think we're about at the end here. I think we're at the end. Yep. Just,
Ms. Alyssa, thank you. Thank y'all as well. Y'all been great. Thank you.
yes.
Thank y'all.
So, and I appreciate you having me here today. Again, feel free to call me. And if you need a card, just let me know. I'll go grab one real quick. So, thank you.
February board meeting is the 10th.
Okay.
The 10th.
Okay. I'll be glad to be here. Thank you.
Then we're going to recognize your team also at that meeting.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other questions for anybody? Now, some motion to adjourn. Oh. Hit your button.
Committee, back when St. Paul's presented their paving request, we also, before that time, presented paving requests for Magnolia, and several people have been out. They know the situation. I have received a call again reminding me of my commitment for the pavement of Magnolia. I would like for the superintendent, maybe Bobby, to address where that is on the schedule. Please.
So at this time, we have not moved forward with any paving projects for this school year. I think that was listed as a want if we were able to get to it. But considering where we were at with ESSER, we have not expanded outside of any capital outlay project that was not considered an emergency from where we were at last year.
So does that mean never get paid? What does that mean?
No, that means that when we're gonna meet again to discuss the needs for next year. And again, that could be part of that discussion at that point.
Well, we appreciate you paving Rex Renner and the community, but this was supposed to be somewhere in the near future, but it's died. So I'm asking the construction committee to bring it back to life again.
And Dr. Williamson, I do believe our next meeting when we meet with Mr. Simmons is gonna be to discuss 27 capital outlay needs.
So that's the whole year, right?
For starting 26, 27.
Oh, okay.
Starting in July. Because remember, our heavy lift this year was to comply with the OCR audit of completing the 3 bleachers at the 3 high schools. And I think that total come out to about $750,000 between the 3.
But if I remember correctly, Miss Erica had some in for paving. Seems like she told us that. Did I mishear that or dream that, Miss Erica? I'm not questioning you all. I'm just trying to remember. I thought she said that.
There's always like a small amount for paving, as Mr. Bobby indicated, when emergencies come up. I mean, we've had cases. I mean, I know my son at Cure Middle, you can repave those areas at Cure Middle and the holes continue to develop. So I know we always keep an amount on hand, but we don't have anything on hand for paving to handle those bigger projects, and we would bring those back for approval. But there is always a small amount in the budget to handle as things come up and emergency needs for paving.
So again, we'll meet within the next couple of months so we can have a conversation on our capital projects and what we're gonna move up, because we have that list and move up. It's close to the top.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah, this is to, I guess, Dr. Williamson and Mr. Bobby. So I understand the capital projects for 26, 27. Is there any possibility of capital projects that would be done between or looked at between now and July the 1st?
Not at this point, I'll be honest. Our priority now is to try to understand what the impact of the loss of federal money. That's a priority because we have personnel tied to that. But we'll take a look at that total list and see what we move where. But Erica, you and I have had several conversations. We really got to put a hold on everything at this point.
That's correct. And that's, been the theme throughout. We weren't sure how the ESSER project was going to go. We had until March, but luckily now that's finished. So that's been our whole conversation for this year with all of those unknown variables came up. So we've got to get back to kind of balance that out with existing things that have come up this year that weren't anticipated and so forth.
Mr. Bobby, I got a question that's probably going to be I know it's in your department with the OCR audit. I know the bleachers at Red Springs and that sort of thing has been handled. The other small stuff, because I know we got a packet of things. Are we on track with all that?
Hit it again, Mr. Bobby.
Yeah, so the original packet that was shared with you did seem overwhelming, but when further conversations with DPI, a lot of those modifications did not need to take place. It was simple signage and things like that. So our guys are still working through all of that. But right now, I do know the handicap stuff has been taken care of, with the other heavy lift being the bleachers that are going to be replaced. Fairmont's first and St. Paul's follows second.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Anybody? Not in the motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
All in favor? Saying aye.
Aye.
Adjourn.